Alright guys, let's check out a Seiko. And oddly enough, I have not done a ton of videos on the Willard, aka Willard. This one, there's a few different model numbers now, both JDM and US. This one is a limited edition spb183, retail price $1,400, using the caliber 6R35. We'll talk a little bit about that. So let's just get into the case size and then we'll talk about the other stuff. Try to hold that format, it'll just help. But obviously the big thing with this one is it's blue. So it is the blue Willard. And so if you like blue divers and you like Seiko, this is one you're going to want to look at. So 42.3 millimeter case, but as you can see, the case actually kind of like comes to like a point on both sides. So it's definitely more like a 42, even though I got an actual measurement of 42.3. It's that 0.3 really doesn't matter. The lug to lug is a short 46. Drilled lugs is going to make doing the strap and the bracelet change and everything like that a little bit easier. Thickness, just a touch over 13.5 millimeter, which is kind of like the norm for a lot of Seiko divers. They're almost all right around that 13.5 millimeter. And with the distortion on this crystal, you can kind of tell it's a single dome. If it was double dome, you wouldn't have those distortions at those angles. The lug width, 20 millimeter, and the bracelet does taper down to 18, so it's 20 down to 18. And the bracelets, the factory bracelets on the Willards are really nice, and we'll cover that a little bit too. 6.5 millimeter crown, non-signed, screw down, heavily shielded. The way this overall case design is, the crown guards are kind of like integrated into the case shape overall, and then they just kind of cut back in, and so it's a little bit of an asymmetrical case design there for sure on this guy. 120 click bezel, and it looks like an aluminum bezel insert, not loomed or anything, it's just the pip. But typical Seiko action, very clean, smooth, consistent all the way through its range. And there's quite a bit of settle back, but there's no play. That's taken up by the resistance of the gasket in there. Does it line up? If it lined up, would you think it wasn't even a real Seiko? No, it's about a half click off. It seems like that's pretty common of pretty much all the Seiko. I don't think I've seen one line up in a while. I think they're all like a half a click off. I'm thinking about making a shirt, something like Seiko, it's a half a click off or something. I don't know. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. I've been talking to Bruce about doing some funny Seiko stuff. Limited edition. I know a lot of people complain or just like to argue or gripe about the fact that they release so many limited editions. How's this light? Can I do better with the light here? Can we do... Maybe I can't do better. I will say this. Yes, they do pump out a lot of limited edition watches. But at least, I'm calling G-Shock out on this one, at least they put on the case back, laser engraved, limited edition. This is number 2,210 of 5,500. So I know how many were made, and that's all I really ask for. But they're giving us an extra bonus of telling us which one of the 5,500 you actually are wearing. I think all brands that are going to do limited edition, at the bare minimum, need to tell us how many they are made. I'm really calling out G-Shock on that one. But so if we look at the dial here, you got nice indices. They're not really applied. They're pressed up from the bottom. That's the way Seiko does their dials. Actually, there's a bunch of other companies that do it too. The handset really plays with the light because you have half of it that is polished and the other half is brushed, if you can kind of see that. And then you have that very cool gold tone second hand that has like the, I don't know what we call it, like a stoplight sort of thing or something. And then all white print except for the diver 200, excuse me, is done in that same kind of gold font that the second hand is made out of. Date at 3 o'clock, almost the same size as the indice. So I think that balances out really good. You got to remember it's going to be like the same size as this one because it's oversized. So the 369 are a little bit larger than the rest, and that date cutout is like very close to the same size. It's just not framed. But I think if they would have framed it, I don't know, in my opinion, it almost cheapened it. I like that they just kind of chamfered it and it just insets, and it's a white wheel with black printing. Super legible, very well done. And I like the aluminum bezel insert on this one. The blue just looks so much better than what they could have done with like the, they usually don't even mess with ceramic. They usually do like some sort of coating, which looks fine, but it kind of looks like ceramic. I kind of like the old school, like just aluminum bezel inserts. They play with the light a lot better. And this is very similar to the blue that's on the old SKX009. If you look at it next to each other, it's very similar when you get it in the light. So I dig that. There it is next to the SKX if you're interested in the size. If you like the SKX and you haven't tried a Willard, I guarantee you're going to like the Willard. It's like a way more balanced out SKX. I know the Willard's older than this case design is older than the SKX, but modern times, that's how I'm doing the comparison. Let's pop this on wrist. Now the 6R35 has a 7-hour power reserve, a little more anti-magnetic properties with the hairspring and everything. I don't think this model actually came with this strap. I think Homer added this. Oh, in case I didn't mention, this is Homer's watch. He sent it in. I can't remember if this package came with the strap or if I think it came with a bracelet for sure, but I don't know if it came with a strap or he added it. It's a comfortable strap. I just feel like it doesn't, I don't think it's ever going to really break in and flex very good. But I do like the strap. I hate the metal keeper. I'm going to remain on the record of hating the metal keeper. So I don't think I'd ever wear it on the strap. I would wear it on the bracelet. Let me put it on the bracelet. So much better. I think they did a really good job with this bracelet. I mean, no bracelet is going to be perfect when you have a case style like this. I think that on mesh it would look really good, but this bracelet is very well done from Seiko. And it is a pin and collar, so that part's going to kind of suck. Look how large the safety fold over is too. It's way larger than the older traditional ones. And the clasp system is a little more refined, although still very familiar for like a Seiko style clasp, meaning that it's, you know, got some stamped stuff. It has the 3 micro adjust and then the odd placement of the dive extension. You know, Seiko could pretty much get rid of that. Has to be one of the worst dive extensions in the industry, but they just still kind of stick with it because it's, you know, functionally fine. But I think the way it positions on a lot of people's wrists, they're not happy with it. Milled center section there, and it just fitment to the case is really good. Yeah, that's how a Willard needs to be worn on the bracelet. Good centering on this too. I'm not sure Homer, who he had sized it up for him or whatever, but because he usually doesn't size his own. But man, this is kind of making me want a Willard. I can't. I'm trying to go minimalist, right? Or can I? Or we're watch obsessive, guys. We're so bad because I see stuff like this and I get all jacked up and I'm like, yeah, I could do this. I could do this. But yeah, I'm wearing the Submariner. But these two could totally coexist. You know, the Willards are awesome. I'm not going to show you in this video, but I have the first real limited Willard that came out, the little bit larger one. Homer sent that one in too. So I'll do a full video with that next to it, but I can't miss the opportunity to just kind of throw the Submariner in frame too. But I don't know. Is what it is. All right, we did the wrist shot. We covered all the basics on it. Retail price was $1,400. You know, on the used market, they're going to be less. You know, although it's limited edition, and sometimes limited edition Seiko, and who knows 10 years down the road what it'll be. But when there's 5,000 of them, you know, they're still going to be pretty easy to get. You're going to pay at the most $1,400, hopefully maybe down to around $800 or something like that, depending on where you find it. I have a pretty good knack of finding good deals, and I think a lot of you guys do too. I did throw this on the time grapher. You know, awesome loom, Seiko. I don't even need to talk about the loom, but I did throw it on the time grapher. It's running pretty good, plus 12 seconds. That's within spec. It's better than slow because you can just do, you know, every few days, just kind of pop the crown out, hack the movement, let it catch back up to, or, you know, let time catch up to the fast running Seiko. But again, on wrist, they might perform totally different. The Seikos on the time grapher do not perform the same as they do on your wrist. They perform typically better on wrist. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Homer for sending this in. I'll see you on the next vid.